Thinking is contagious. A couple of things this morning. CNBC um, started to listen to it, and I heard a conversation regarding uh, the inequities again in systems in America, and this one was aimed at education, and the guest on there was a gentleman by the name of Joel Greenblatt, Gotham Asset Management. I think he was the CIO. Um, and he referenced, and I don't know if this is an accurate statement or not, but he said that in America, college graduates make 70% more over their lifetime than just a high school graduate. And his solution to this problem uh, was that, and the example he used, he said, let's suppose that someone wanted to work in the HR department at Microsoft, that Microsoft could create a certification of certain classes or criterias that they would accept in lieu of a college education uh, to qualify for positions within that HR department. How short-sighted can you be? All you're doing is undermining the the advancement of America, of the individual. Again, the thing that I harp upon so much: drag down instead of aspire to grow and reach higher. Minimize the standard, lower the standard. What does that do for America's standing? While the rest of the world has their kids going out and getting degrees and educating themselves and becoming experts in things, we're going to lower the standard. A certification. Where does that end up 10, 20 years from now? Corporate America. What is their infrastructure of that human element going to be if it's lowered? The standard is constantly lowered in order to, in the name of equality. There is no requirement of equality. What there is a requirement is of equal opportunity for people to take advantage of. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed anything. It doesn't mean that the standard needs to be lowered in order to make it easier for you to be successful. That's not the intent. Oh man, it just another point that I wanted to get to was the situation with the election and Biden. And again, I'm going back to this platform that's being taken by the liberals and the Democratic Party specifically, that Trump's been uh, allowed China to get away with things, or the trade deal with China is being thrown in his face as not working, and the supply chain issue with China is suddenly Trump's fault when we know whose fault it was. Uh, I want to get a couple of things in here. I saw an article from a former CIA operative, Brian Dean Wright, who's usually a Democratic voter. And he came out and said, and this was somewhere on Fox, granted it was on Fox and Friends, and he came out and said he was going to vote for Trump in November because um, he said that basically China has used the Democrats as, and this is his quote, useful idiots. Useful idiots. And he talks about Biden and Hunter Biden and their ties with China, and the $1.5 billion contract with Rosemont, which was Biden and John Kerry's stepson Heinz, Chris Heinz company. Um, and this was $1.5 billion that was received by Rosemont, Hunter Biden's firm, uh, not from a company in China, an American company operating in China, a Chinese company, private entity in China. No, this is $1.5 billion that was received from the Chinese government, okay, and paid to Rosemont, which is now defunct, by the way, Rosemont, paid to them. At the same time that Joe Biden was in China negotiating, quote unquote, deals with the Chinese on trade on the South China Sea. Okay, um, and with an administration that, at the very least, the Obama administration facilitated the Chinese for 8 years in stealing our intellectual property, gave support for the Chinese involvement, which allowed China to help fast track the North Korea nuclear program, the an administration that looked the other way when China was stealing our jobs, our technology. As a matter of fact, facilitated all these things to happen. Uh, I think we need to see that the very platform that is being used right now as the new democratic vision for fighting this problem, they're fighting a problem which they created. And we, again, need to stand up because there is no doubt that the Chinese, at this point, are supporting the Biden presidency. And I'm going to close with this: the Global Times, which is a Chinese state tabloid. And their quote is that their preference for Biden is that he would prove to be smoother to deal with than Trump. And this is a Chinese state publication. The Chinese are dying for the Democrats to gain power. They're dying for Biden to become president. And they are chomping at the bit for the Democrats to control all factions of the United States government, because they know it'll be back to business as usual under an administration that will be phase two of Obama, under which China's economy grew in record paces, and it was directly attributable to the fuel provided by Obama Biden. Open your eyes, people. All you who believe that Biden is the answer. Open your eyes. Look what has been created in China. Look at the anti-American sentiment, the undermining of America's economy, the stealing of our intellectual property, the brainwashing of our kids that is being created by a communist regime that was given legs, was given fuel, was given nourishment by Obama Biden. Obama Biden. The Chinese should have monuments. They should have murals throughout China. Next to Mao's, there should be Obama's. Think about it. When you are going to vote in November, think about where your priorities are. The betterment and the advancement and the safekeeping of America and its values, or the selling out of America that was so fast-tracked under Obama to continue under Biden. And we're not even going to go to Kamala Harris. The praying mantis waiting to fulfill the liberal agenda of, once the Trojan horse, Joe Biden, has been let in the gates, he will be done away with under the guise of illness, no longer competent, the need to make a replacement for the good of the country. That's where it's going to go. And that replacement will be the far left. And if you don't believe that, think for yourself. That's why this is Thinking is Contagious. Think what is logical, what is happening. Think of the history of the party, of Joe Biden for 8 years. Think of the history. Think of the South China Sea, the building of those islands that was allowed. Think of the payoff to Hunter Biden. If I told you that Donald Trump Jr., while his father was negotiating treaties with Russia, received $1.5 billion from the Russian government, from Putin's government, for a venture capital investment, how would that go over? How would the liberals attack that? How would that be accepted? That would be front page. That would be impeachment 2, phase 2. And with Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Chris Hines, Pelosi, the liberals, it gets just put under the rug, swept under the rug. It doesn't exist. It's not an issue. Ben Shapiro said it. Ben Shapiro said it recently, that the media is completely ignoring this story about China's support, vocal support for a Biden presidency. And have you heard anything about it in the media? Have you heard anything about it in the mainstream media? Nothing at all, because it's buried. The Chinese want Biden. Do you want Biden? Thanks. Have a good day. Subscribe, support us, and help us get this message out. Thank you.